Hello everyone, welcome back to CarBuyer Singapore. Now it's very early in the morning here in the middle of Bangkok, specifically the Etu Pub in Bang Na, and we're going to be embarking on a journey all the way from Thailand down to Singapore, and it's going to be, well, kind of arduous. It's not the first time it's been done, but the car that we'll be driving is this, the ORA Good Cat. Currently on the highway down towards, well, down south. Now the problem is, most of the instructions on the walkie are in Thai. The entire infotainment system is in Thai, and despite my best efforts using Google Translate, I can't find the setting to turn it back to English. Hang on a second! Finally.
Oh my...
Oh, okay.
Praise the Lord. Oh my God.
Okay, we're good, we are good. Good morning everyone. It is now day 2 of our week-long journey from Bangkok to Singapore, and we're gonna be leaving this beautiful beach resort for another beach resort. But cars are ready to go, the drivers not so much. We gotta pee. So we've made a stop at one of GWM's partner stores here in Chumphon, Thailand. Apparently it's the newest one in this whole region, and it's basically a showroom, but it's not a showroom you would expect in Singapore. And when you step into the showroom, you're welcomed by the staff with local produce and coconuts and coffee and such. Even the perfume in the toilets is dictated by GWM's SOP. They want a customer to feel welcomed, part of a family or a community. So I don't know if this kind of showroom experience will ever come to Singapore, but I'm sure everyone can appreciate this. And also, while your car is being serviced, you even have a live stream of what's going on in the workshop, so you can basically spy on the technician to see if they're messing about with your car. But basically it's just a really transparent showroom experience that, well, as a Singaporean we are not familiar with. But free food! And I've tried it before, this is just a prop. Embarrassingly, I've tried a lot of food here. We have finally arrived in Hat Yai, the border town between Thailand and Malaysia, and over the last 3 days we've covered a distance of about 1,200 kilometers. So the car was actually officially launched in Singapore today with a starting price of just over $160,000, but for the money you are getting quite the competent little package. I mean, it looks cute, it's comfortable, it's quite refined, and it's safe, which is a great help when you're navigating the worst that the Thai road network can throw at you. But here we are in one piece. So we're at our overnight halt, and we're gonna get some rest, some food, a lot of food maybe, and we will start again tomorrow. Alright, we are now in Malaysia officially. So these cars, like our noble black little steed here, is going back to Thailand because these Thai plates won't make it into Malaysia. Goodbye little blackie, you have served us very well. So this is the particular ORA Good Cat that we've been driving around in Malaysia from Penang. We had a fully blacked out version back when we were driving in Thailand, but in this particular two-tone chocolate brown and beige colorway, you can see the design aspect of the car more clearly. So this was designed by an ex-Porsche designer called Emmanuel Derta, which despite my best efforts on Google, I haven't been able to find any of his past designs, but you can see a little bit of Porsche 356 with these curved fenders and round headlamps. You've even got two little bulges on the hood. Now, under the hood, it houses all your electric drive motors, your ancillary systems, whatnot. You don't get a frunk in this car, but who needs a frunk in a city car anyway? Now, lower down on the front fascia, you've got a pretty clean, smooth aesthetic. You've got a little honeycomb pattern here on the sides where the fog lamps would typically be. I don't know what that does, but it's just cool stylistic touch. Lower down on the bumper, you've got a black front splitter with a lot of vents here to cool the battery systems and whatnot. It looks vintage, it looks cool, it looks cute. But round the back is where things start taking a little bit of a turn, because it's not that retro and nostalgic inspired like the front end is. You've got a full width tail light mounted in the rear windshield. You've also got a brake light up here on the roof mounted spoiler. The tailgate itself is just smooth and simple with your model badge and Great Wall Motors badge here. Your indicators and reverse lamps are mounted pretty low down on the bumper, and you've got a pretty unique rear fog light in this kind of F1 inspired rear diffuser. Now this rear tailgate opens to reveal a 228 litre boot, which by all means is not very big, but this is a pretty small compact hatchback, so it doesn't need to be that big. However, your load lip is pretty high. My hand's all the way here, and the tip of the boot floor, the boot lid is at my hip. So you would have to stretch a little to fit your stuff in here. And you've got a little bit of underfloor storage which is taken up by your tyre patch kit and your charging cable. Welcome to the interior of the ORA Good Cat. Now, we've seen this car before, but I'll just give you a brief rundown. Basically, it has a dual screen dashboard layout, 10.25-inch infotainment screen, little digital gauge cluster here. This also has this kind of chocolate brown and cream two-tone interior with a very nice suede texture on the dashboard and this strip of brown leather on the steering wheel with brown cross-stitching. Now, you've also got a row of HVAC buttons down here and a rotary gear lever. This doesn't have a park button or a start button, so to start the car up, you gotta get in, put your foot on the brake, put it in gear, put your seatbelt on, then you're ready to go. Also, I want to show you guys this. The one we had in Thailand didn't come with these, but these are carpets, or rather rubber mats, with a pattern of a cat. Okay, I can put this back and wash my hands later. Things I don't really like about this car. For one, it doesn't have physical volume controls either here or on the screen. The only way to adjust it is through the infotainment menu or with these buttons on the multifunction steering wheel. But the good news is you get a massive sunroof and you get automatic seats, automatic windows. It is very, very well furnished in here. So for the money, you are getting quite the competent package. And the car in Singapore even has ventilated seats, which would do very well here in the heat of Thailand or Malaysia. But we are slumming it, god damn it. You know what, it's fine. The aircon's pretty strong enough, the sound system is good. It has what most Singaporeans would need in a car. But anyway, we're here in Penang right now, so this video might jump and cut a little bit in some places. But we're gonna get back on the road soon, so I will tell you how this feels like on the road. Good news and bad news. I will start with the bad news first. We have 7% of charge left, which is showing us about 20 km on the range estimate. KL is about 20 kilometers away, so that's a little bit too close to be pushing it. The good news is, which it's kind of not good news, it's good for me, because we are not the only one. We might be taking the support cars to the hotel. But I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. I'm the disease. Meet the cure. We are taking the MPV to our next stop because I drive like an idiot. And I'm sorry guys. I'm sorry. I'd just like to show you the most impressive sight, one of the most impressive things I've seen on this trip. Look at how many there are. I'm in a sea of ORA Good Cats. Meow. Today I'm being punished by being sandwiched between two cars so that I wouldn't be speeding or slowing down too much or just giving it random bursts of acceleration. But that's road trip life, I guess. In an EV, it's not that simple as it is in a petrol car, but in an EV, it's a lot more tricky than it is. In fact, it's trickier here in Malaysia than it is in Thailand because we have struggled to find a charger that can charge these cars fast enough, and we've made like an hour or 2 hour stops at cafes and such, just trying to make sure that we have enough range and enough buffer to get to our destinations on time. So that's one thing that you have to be mindful of if you're doing a cross-country EV road trip. Otherwise, if you have all your charging stations planned out, well, you still better pray that the charging stations are not in use, because oftentimes you'll find other EVs being charged. So before I get too carried away, let me just give you a rundown of the specs of this car. In Thailand, it is being badged as an ORA Good Cat 500, which means 500 km of range. In Singapore, however, it's badged as an 03 model, but you do get the same powertrain, which means you get a 145 horsepower electric motor, 210 Newton meters of torque, and a 63.14 kilowatt hour battery pack. Funny enough, the 0 to 100 time is not listed, and I'm not going to test it. But honestly, in a city car, it doesn't really matter. If you really must know, I would guesstimate it at around 9 seconds, mid 9 seconds. Now, the other funny thing about this car is in Singapore, the homologated figures puts its efficiency at 16.7 kilowatt hours per 100 km. However, we are getting, right now it's showing me 14.2, and we actually managed to whittle it down to 13.2. So if you drive a little bit more efficiently, you could very well beat the on paper efficiency figure by quite a large margin, which translates to more range. Alright, now we are on the North-South Highway bound for JB, and having driven this car for the better part of a week, I can say that it is a very surprisingly refined car for what you're paying for. The car's quite quiet. That kind of road noise doesn't really permeate the cabin that much, although at higher speeds you do get a little bit of tire roar, but that might be down to the uneven road surfaces or a little bit more roughed up asphalt. But the cabin is very well insulated, your seats are soft, and they don't really jiggle that much over the rougher road surfaces or potholes and stuff like that. It actually stays very planted and very supple indeed. So for the whole 2000 km, I don't think it was a very hard car to drive. Although if you were to attempt a road trip like that, I think you might suffer a little bit where boot capacity is concerned, because this has a pretty small boot, like 228 liters. So pack light and plan your charging routes accordingly, because if you do not, you are going to be stuck at petrol stations and charging stops a lot more often than you would need to. The range is actually quite impressive for a car of this size and class. I mean, 63.14 kilowatt hours. You don't get that kind of battery size in a lot of electric cars. Larger cars have had smaller batteries and even lower range figures. So this is actually very generous for what you get. Is the ORA Good Cat a good car? Yes, it is. And I might be a little bit biased, but I kind of do like the Porsche styling of the front end. But having been driving in the Convoy, looking at the back of the car, I gotta say that the back has really grown on me, because that full width tail light and the two-tone roof of that particular car that we have ahead of us, that color would be my pick. So we finally got a change of clothes and we are back in Singapore after travelling all the way from Bangkok, down to Hat Yai, Penang, KL, JB before coming back here. It's an over 2,000 kilometer journey and it is tiring, but we've had a lot of fun on this journey and we've got to know the car pretty well. But good news is, the cars you see here are more highly spec'd than the cars that we have behind. These come with more creature comforts that should make the journey more comfortable. So honestly, if you are traveling up to Thailand with one of these, plan your charging routes, but it can be done if you pack light, because remember the boot is quite small. But that's it for this video, so stay tuned to carbuyer.com.sg to keep up with the review and our news pieces. Also, we're on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Do check us out there as well. Once again, thank you very much for watching and we'll see you again the next time.